I used to think lending my car to a friend was just a favor. Turns out it's also a test, one I didn't know I was giving and one he absolutely failed. The air in my apartment still smelled like the takeout I'd left half-eaten on the counter, spicy lamb biryani from the new spot on 4th, reheated and forgotten. A pair of my old boots sat by the door, one tipped over like it had somewhere better to be. That's the kind of week it had been: messy, incomplete, slightly off balance. And quiet. Too quiet for a Friday night when your best friend was supposed to return your car 3 days ago. His name's Cameron Scott on legal stuff, but everyone just calls him Cam. We met freshman year of college during a fire drill where neither of us bothered to evacuate. Instead, we stayed behind in the common room playing FIFA with the sound muted, listening to the distant wail of the alarm like it was background music. He beat me 7-2 and then offered me the last slice of pizza. We've been friends ever since. Cam's the kind of guy who can talk himself out of a traffic ticket and into a VIP lounge within the same hour. He's got that casual, I'm not trying too hard but still win at life charisma. You know the type, charm that feels borrowed but somehow still fits. But Cam also has what I'd call a talent for chaos. Not malicious, just disorganized. Jobs didn't last long, girlfriends never made it past Thanksgiving, and money, always tight. He once claimed a $75 bottle of cologne as a necessity while borrowing rent from his sister. Still, he was my best friend, my guy, the person I texted first when I got a promotion or got dumped. So when he asked to borrow my car because his was making a noise like a dying squirrel, I didn't think twice. 3 days, I said, tossing him the keys with that little red foam keychain my nephew gave me for Christmas. No longer. Scout's honor, Cam grinned, holding up 3 fingers like a pledge. You were never a scout. Exactly, so that makes it legally binding. That was 5 days ago. No car, no Cam. At first, I wasn't worried. He's not great with time or texting back or general adulthood. But by day 4, I'd sent 7 texts and 2 voicemails. Nothing, not even a read receipt. On day 5, I caught myself packing between my front window and the phone, chewing the inside of my cheek raw. I finally caved and did the one thing I'd been avoiding, called his sister, Leanne. Have you heard from Cam? I asked, trying to sound casual. There was a pause, a long one. Not recently, she said slowly. Why? I lent him my car, haven't heard from him since Monday. Another pause. Oh. Just that, oh. Leanne, I said, hearing the edge in my own voice, what's going on? I don't know, Nate. He said he was headed out of town for a bit, something about a gig in Rochester. I assumed you knew. I didn't. She exhaled hard. Okay, that's not great. I couldn't sit still after that. The next move felt pathetic, but I made it anyway. I posted on Instagram. A story, just a photo of the passenger seat of my car, the cracked leather, the half-used bottle of Febreze wedged between the seats with the caption, "Miss this view, anyone seen Cam?" I didn't tag him, I wanted to, but I didn't. Still, people noticed. I got a few DMs, some confused, some nosy. A couple of mutual friends asked if we'd had a falling out. One guy from college replied with, "Classic Cam lol," which made me want to throw my phone out the window. But nothing useful. So I did the one thing I should have done first. I called the police non-emergency line. The woman on the other end was kind, if a little disinterested. Sir, has the vehicle been missing more than 7 days? No, but is the person authorized to drive it? Technically, yes. Then it's not a stolen vehicle at this time. I hung up before she finished explaining policy. That night, I had the worst sleep I've had in months. Woke up at 3:26 a.m., sweating, with my mind racing through the worst-case scenarios. Car crash, hospital, jail, or, and this one hit me like a punch in the gut, what if he just sold it? I got out of bed and went to my laptop. I typed towed vehicle lookup into Google like a man chasing ghosts. 2 hours later, after clicking through 3 different city databases, I found something. A listing under my license plate, dated 2 nights ago. Towed from a convenience store parking lot on the south side, listed as vehicle abandoned. Abandoned. That word hit me weird. I called the number listed, gave my plate again, and waited while a man with a bored voice confirmed it. Yeah, it's here, he said, tow lot on 84th and Mason. Can I come get it? Bring ID, proof of ownership, and cash, $397. I almost asked him to repeat it, not the fee though that was brutal, but the confirmation. My car was there, not crashed, not gone, just dumped by my best friend. The next morning, I stood outside the tow lot at 8:05 a.m. The sun hadn't fully burned through the fog and everything looked gray and bleary, like the world hadn't decided whether to wake up or not. The guy at the counter looked at me like I was interrupting his breakfast burrito. Black Honda Accord, plate ending in 17T. Yeah. He squinted at my paperwork, stamped something, and handed me a clipboard. Sign paybacks that way. It was too early for small talk, so I didn't ask anything else. I signed, I paid. And then I walked past a chain-link gate into the back lot, rows and rows of forgotten metal stacked like bad decisions. My car was parked crooked, front bumper slightly scuffed. One headlight had a spiderweb crack. Inside, the air smelled stale and the glove compartment was open, its contents scattered. But that wasn't what made my stomach flip. In the passenger seat was something I hadn't left there. A hoodie. Dark gray, familiar. Cam. Stuffed inside the pocket, barely visible, was a wrinkled receipt and a crumpled parking ticket. And a folded envelope with my name on it. I stared at it for a long time before touching it. The wind nudged the driver's side door closed behind me, soft and final, like the world was giving me privacy for whatever this was. I opened the envelope. Inside wasn't a note. It was a Polaroid. A picture of Cam, sitting on the hood of my car, smiling. With someone I didn't recognize, tall, tattooed, blonde. She had one hand on his chest and the other holding up my keys like a trophy. There was a message scrawled at the bottom in Cam's handwriting. But I didn't read it. Not yet. Because my phone buzzed in my pocket right then, finally, mercifully. A message from Cam. Hey, I messed up, can we talk? I didn't open the text right away. Not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't figure out if I was angrier at the silence or the sudden noise. 5 days of radio silence, no calls, no answers, and now one vague sentence. Hey, I messed up, can we talk? I stared at the words like they might shift under my gaze, like maybe they'd clarify into something better. They didn't. I read them again, still hollow. My hand drifted back to the envelope, still open, still heavy with the one photo inside. Cam and the mystery woman, my car behind them like a prop. His smile didn't look guilty, it looked satisfied. Almost proud. I sat in the driver's seat, turned the ignition, battery still good, thank God, and waited while the dashboard came to life. Check engine light blinked, probably from the bumper scuff, but nothing screamed fatal. The radio kicked on to some low FM static, and I immediately shut it off. Silence was louder now. I pulled out of the tow lot and drove without music, window cracked, city crawling by like it had somewhere else to be. Cam's message was still sitting there, unread in a way that felt deliberate even though I'd opened it. I didn't respond. Not yet. Back home, I parked like I was afraid the car might run away again. I took the photo and laid it flat on my kitchen counter. The note at the bottom was smeared but still legible. It said, "Wasn't supposed to go this way, I'm sorry, Nate." That's it. No explanation, no apology that actually said anything. Just that vague, infuriating mix of cowardice and regret that people lean on when they don't want to be accountable. Wasn't supposed to go this way. I made coffee I didn't drink, stared at my phone, checked Instagram as if maybe Cam had posted something dumb or self-indulgent to fill in the blanks. He hadn't. He was quiet online too. Which meant it wasn't just me he ghosted, it was everyone. Or at least everyone that mattered. Around noon I called Leanne again. This time she picked up fast. "I saw your story," she said, skipping hello. "Is the car okay?" "Found it at the tow lot." She didn't say anything. There was a picture in it, Leanne, Cam with some girl. Looked like it was taken 2 or 3 days ago. "That tracks," she said softly. "Excuse me." "I mean, he mentioned someone, not a name, just that he was helping a friend get out of a situation. I assumed it was platonic." I laughed once, flat and bitter. Didn't look platonic. "Nate." "No, seriously, you don't borrow someone's car and then use it for a romantic road trip while ignoring every call from the person who owns the car." She hesitated. Have you talked to him? He texted just now. I messed up. Can we talk? Are you going to? I didn't answer. I think she took the silence as a no. Just when you do, she said, don't expect him to have the right words. Cam's good at charm, not so good at shame. Yeah, I'm starting to notice. By 4 p.m. I gave in. I texted back. Where are you? He replied 3 minutes later. Can you come to the place by the tracks, the little diner? I knew the one, Stella's, cheap burgers, fake 50s decor, always smells like grease and worn vinyl. It was where we used to go after late movies or during finals. Neutral ground. I drove there in silence, parked across the street and watched him through the window before I went in. Cam was already there, same hoodie from the car, hair messy, a duffel bag by his feet. He looked older somehow, not in a dramatic way, just frayed. I stepped in, the bell over the door rang. He looked up and froze. Then gave a half smile, not the cocky one, the other kind, the one he used when we were kids and he knew he was in trouble. Hey, he said. I didn't sit yet. You abandoned my car, I said, and ghosted me for 5 days. I know. You left a picture in it. What was that, some kind of joke? No, that wasn't supposed to be left. She must have put it in. I didn't look. I didn't mean for any of this to play out like it did. Then how was it supposed to play out? His eyes dropped to the table. He pushed the salt shaker in a slow circle like it could help him organize his thoughts. I was helping her, he said finally. Her who? Her name's Danny. She was in a bad situation. Her ex was tracking her, not legally, not cleanly, but she needed out, fast, no paper trail, no rental cars. She just needed to disappear for a while. And your solution was to take my car and ghost me. I didn't plan on disappearing. I meant to take it for the 3 days like I said, but things kept escalating. I figured the less you knew, the safer you'd be if anything came up. Cam, you left me completely in the dark. I thought something happened to you. I called your sister. I looked up towed vehicles. Do you have any idea how that felt? He looked up then, and for a second the guilt actually showed. Yeah, he said, I do, and I'm sorry. But not enough to tell me first. He didn't answer. I sat down, not because I forgave him, but because my legs were starting to shake. She's gone now, he said quietly. I dropped her at a bus station outside Albany. She's starting over. In my car. No, I parked your car the night before. We took a different ride up. And just left mine in a parking lot with a ticket. I panicked. I didn't want to risk driving it back and running into complications. Cam, it's not your getaway vehicle. It's my life, my job, my grocery runs. You stole time from me. His voice got quieter. I know. The waitress came by and asked if we wanted anything. We both shook our heads. You could have just told me, I said. Hell, I probably would have helped. I didn't want to drag you into it. You dragged me in anyway. He gave a small, humorless laugh. Yeah, I guess I did. I looked at him, really looked at him, and saw something I hadn't seen in a long time. Fear. Not of me, of himself. Did she ask you to do all this? No, she asked for help. I made the calls. I kept it messy. I leaned back, staring at the stained ceiling tile above us. You're gonna pay the tow fee, I said. Of course. And the parking ticket. Yeah. And you're gonna get the bumper fixed. Done. We sat there for a minute. Neither of us moved. I don't know if I trust you anymore, I said. He didn't flinch. I don't blame you. Best friends don't ghost each other. I know. He meant it, and I hated how badly I wanted to believe that was enough. We didn't hug. I didn't ask him how he got mixed up with Danny, or what he thought he was saving her from, or what that Polaroid really meant. But before I left, I said one last thing. If this was about you being a hero, you failed. If it was about loyalty, you lost. But if it was about protecting someone, I hope it was worth what it cost. Cam didn't say anything. Just nodded once. And I walked out. I didn't speak to Cam again for 2 weeks. Not because I was punishing him, because I didn't know what words I'd use if I opened that door again, if I'd try to fix what cracked between us or just throw something heavier against it. In the meantime, I did the boring stuff. Took the car in for a bumper estimate. Cam paid, as promised. Paid off the parking ticket, which he Venmo'd me for without me asking. vacuumed the crumbs out of the back seat even though they weren't mine. And I found something under the passenger floor mat. A lighter. Not just any lighter, an old metal Zippo, scratched and matte black, engraved with the words "Trust costs nothing until it does." I flipped it open, flicked the wheel, still worked. I don't smoke, never have. But Cam used to. I didn't bring it up right away. It felt like opening a wound just to prove it still bled. Instead, I called Leanne. She answered on the second ring. "Hey," she said, cautious like she didn't know which version of me she'd get. "I found something in the car." "Okay." A Zippo black has a weird quote etched on it. Ring a bell. There was a pause on her end, not long but enough. "Yeah," she said slowly, "that's his." "Figured. Used to be his dad's. He kept it even after he quit smoking. Like a reminder, I guess." "A reminder of what?" Leanne sighed. "Not everything you keep is meant to comfort you." That night, I put the lighter on my nightstand and stared at it until the shadows swallowed it up. Something wasn't adding up. Not just the girl or the ghosting or the towed car. It was the way Cam looked at me in that diner, like he was expecting more to fall apart, like he wasn't just sorry, he was scared of something. Or someone. The next day I got a voicemail. Block number, male voice, older, gravel in the tone. "You don't know me, but you know who I'm looking for. Cam owes me something. If you want your windows to stay intact, maybe tell him to call me back." Click. No name, no repeat, no number to trace. Just a threat. I played it 3 times to make sure I wasn't mishearing. I was. Then I called Cam. He didn't pick up. I texted him. "You need to call me now." An hour passed. Then came the reply. "Meet me at the park, behind the basketball courts, bring the lighter." It was overcast when I got there, one of those afternoons where the sky looks like wet cement and smells like rain. Cam was already waiting, same hoodie, same worn-out jeans. His eyes had bags under them and not the kind from late nights playing video games. I held up the Zippo. "Yours." He nodded. "You left it in my car." "I didn't mean to." "Well, it's got your ghost all over it, so does the voicemail I just got." His jaw tightened. "You listened to it?" "Yeah, and I'd like to know who the hell thinks I'm your secretary." Cam looked around the park like he expected someone to jump out from the bushes. Then he sat on the bench, shoulders low, spine bent like the air itself was pressing on him. "I didn't tell you everything," he said. "No kidding. Danny, she wasn't just running from an ex, she was running from her dealer, her old life, bad people, Nate. And you volunteered to be her getaway driver." He shook his head. "I owe her." "For what?" "She saved my life." I sat beside him, not too close. He didn't look at me when he spoke, just stared out at the court where a group of teenagers played a lazy game of pickup. 2 years ago I overdosed," Cam said. "Leanne knows, my mom doesn't, you didn't until now." He let that land. I didn't interrupt. It wasn't dramatic, just me in a crappy motel bathroom with a bag of pills and no real plan. I'd hit rock bottom and didn't realize it had a basement. "How did she find you?" "She didn't, she was there, different room, different reason, but she heard me fall, broke in, did CPR, stayed until the ambulance came." He exhaled. "We didn't talk for months after, but then we ran into each other again last winter. She was trying to get clean. I was pretending I already was. We clicked. Same damage, different scars." "So what happened now?" "She started getting pressured again. The guy, her ex, her dealer, whatever, he found her new job, started showing up, got aggressive. She didn't want to go to the cops, said she couldn't, I didn't ask." "So you borrowed my car without warning and vanished off the grid to help her run?" "Yeah. And now someone thinks I'm in the middle of it." He turned to me finally. "I know, I'm sorry." "You keep saying that." "Because I mean it. You also left me a picture of you two smiling like you just got engaged. What was that about?" He winced. "That wasn't for you, that was hers. She thought if anything happened to us, someone should know we were happy, at least for a second." "Did she know you ghosted your best friend to make that moment happen?" He didn't answer. "Didn't need to." I didn't feel better after that conversation. But I did feel something shift. Cam wasn't lying to hurt me. He was lying because he didn't know how to be honest and broken at the same time. But that doesn't mean I had to accept it. I handed him the lighter. You hold on to this, I said, because I'm not sure you're done burning bridges yet. He took it carefully like it might bite. I'm not asking for forgiveness, he said. Good, I replied, because you haven't earned it. He nodded once. Then I walked away. Cam didn't text again for 5 more days. And this time I didn't wait. I changed the locks to my apartment, not because I thought he'd barge in, he didn't have a key anymore, but because it felt like the only thing I could control. That, and I finally took his name off my emergency contact form at the clinic. It's not that I wanted him gone. I just needed a version of my life that didn't depend on whether or not Cam showed up. That Saturday, I cleaned out the glove compartment for good. Old receipts, expired insurance cards, a pack of gums so ancient it might as well have fossilized. Everything Cam had left behind, 2 loose guitar picks, a charging cable, a folded restaurant napkin with a phone number written in blue ink, I dumped into a shoebox and shoved under my bed. Out of reach, not quite out of mind. Then I got a letter. Actual mail, not a text, not an email. An envelope, no return address, my name in Cam's handwriting. Inside was a note and 2 pieces of paper. The note said, "Didn't know how to say this in person, maybe that's cowardly, but maybe it's also the only way I'll actually get it out. These are hers, Danny's, one's a statement, the other's a list. I thought you deserved to know who you were protecting even if you didn't sign up for it." The first paper was a printed screenshot of a notarized affidavit. I skimmed it. Danny had filed a formal report. Her real name was Danny L. Ortega. And the man she was running from wasn't just some abusive ex, he was a former associate from a trafficking ring she helped expose 2 years ago. She'd been in witness protection until she voluntarily exited the program for reasons not listed. Her statement read like a novel, names redacted, timelines murky, but one thing was clear. She hadn't been running from Cam's mess. Cam had been trying to clean up hers. The second paper was shorter, handwritten. It was a list of dates and addresses, motel names, short notes like left this morning or saw him outside at 2 a.m. The last entry read, Nate's car towed, time's up, I'm on my own now, tell Cam thank you. Underneath that, a different pen had scrawled, burn after reading or don't, your call. I sat at my kitchen table until my coffee went cold. That's when I realized what was happening. Cam hadn't ghosted me to hurt me, he'd ghosted me to keep me out of the blast radius. And in a twisted, backhanded way, he'd succeeded. Except now I wasn't sure who had taken the hit instead. Sunday morning, I drove back to the tow lot. Not to see the car, I had it cleaned and detailed the week before, but to talk to the guy behind the glass again. I needed to know how long it had really sat there, whether anyone else had come by looking for it. The clerk, same bored guy from last time, barely looked up when I walked in. You were here before, he said. Yeah, black Accord. He nodded slowly. You picked it up, 2 weeks ago? Right, I just had a question. Did anyone else come by asking about it? Anyone suspicious? He gave me a look. Buddy, you know how many people think their ex's car is in our lot. I didn't push, just left my number, asked him to call if anything came up. I was halfway out the door when he said, actually. I turned. There was a guy, bald, sunglasses, left a card with a fake name, said he was trying to repo the vehicle but didn't have a VIN. I tossed the card, though. I nodded, thanks. But I already knew who that was. The voicemail, the blocked number. He hadn't been threatening me. He'd been tracking her. Through my car. Monday, I drove to Leanne's office. She works front desk at a small physical therapy clinic, bright and sunny and full of cheesy inspirational posters. She looked up and flinched when she saw me. Nate. I need to talk, I said. She nodded, came around the counter, and led me to a back room they use for paperwork and broken printers. I showed her the letter, the affidavit, the list. Her face paled. I didn't know it was this bad, she whispered. Neither did I. We sat for a while. Then she said, so what are you going to do? I don't know, but I can't pretend this didn't happen. Leanne looked up. I think he's scared, Nate, really scared, not of you, of screwing things up again, of being the reason someone else gets hurt. I nodded. He already was. That night I found Cam at the old soccer field by our high school. He always went there when his world tilted sideways. He was sitting on the bleachers, hoodie pulled tight, shoulders hunched like gravity was personal. I didn't announce myself. Just sat beside him. He didn't speak for a while. Then he said, "You read it." "Yeah." "Still hate me?" "I don't know." Cam looked like he'd been running on fumes, eyes sunken, hands twitchy, like the guilt itself was caffeinated and crawling under his skin. "I didn't know what else to do," he said. "You did what she asked, that's something. I put you in the crosshairs, Nate. And you took me out before the shot hit, that's something too." We sat in silence again, cold night air creeping in. Then he pulled something from his pocket. "The Zippo. I think I'm done lighting things on fire," he said. "Good, try fixing some instead." Cam looked at me, really looked, and for once didn't flinch. "I want to," he said. "Then start by showing up, no more disappearances, no more secrets." "I can try." I stood, "Try harder." As I walked away, he called out one last time. "Nate." "Yeah." "Thank you for not giving up." I didn't say anything back. But I meant to. I didn't think healing would feel this awkward. Turns out when a friendship fractures, especially one built on years of loyalty, late-night drives, spilled secrets, and shared hangovers, it doesn't shatter clean, it splinters. Hairline fractures across everything you thought was solid. The things you thought were obvious, like trust and respect, suddenly need to be rebuilt brick by brick. And it's a slower job than I ever expected. Cam kept his word. Mostly. He didn't disappear again. He'd text, sometimes late, sometimes just a dumb meme or a single word, "survived." I never knew exactly what that meant, but it didn't feel like a cry for help. It felt like a status update from someone still climbing out of the hole. We met up once a week, just coffee, always in public, no deep talks, just being present. The first time he reached for the check, I let him, small step. By the third time, I noticed he was wearing new shoes. Clean, untorn, not expensive, just intentional. That said something. I got a call from the tow lot guy 2 weeks later. He was short with me on the phone, like helping me out was more trouble than he wanted to deal with, but he said a man had come by asking again about the black Accord. Same description as before, no ID, walked the perimeter like he was casing the place. "He didn't ask your name this time," he said, "but he left a note, no envelope. Can I come pick it up?" It's just 2 words, figured I'd read it. "Okay." He cleared his throat. "Still looking?" I called Cam immediately. He answered on the 3rd ring, out of breath. "You need to move," I said. "I already did." "Good, because whoever she was running from, he's not done." There was silence, not long, not panicked, just cold. "Then I'll make sure he is," Cam said. "That doesn't mean going rogue again." "I'm not. I've been talking to someone, a woman who works with a private outreach network, not cops but not off the grid either. She helps people like Danny transition without losing their minds or getting tracked." "You trust her?" "I trust she doesn't owe me anything, that's more than I can say for most." A week later, I got another letter. Different handwriting, neater, feminine. "Danny, you don't know me, Nate, but I owe you more than an apology. You didn't sign up for any of this, but your silence saved me. I'm safe now, really safe. I hope Cam tells you the truth eventually, not just about me, but about himself. He's more scared of becoming his father than anyone realizes. You're one of the only good men he's ever seen up close. Don't give up on him, even if it's easier to. With quiet gratitude. Day. Inside the envelope was a photo. Not a Polaroid, not a selfie. Just a shot of an empty road stretching through pine trees and open sky. On the back, someone had written, "Clean slates exist, just gotta stop driving in circles." Cam and I never talked about that letter. Not directly. But a month later, we stood in line together at a DMV. He was finally getting his license renewed and fixing the title on a used Civic he picked up from a friend of a friend. Paid cash, claimed it ran like an honest apology. When he stepped up to the clerk, she asked him to confirm his address. He paused, then said, "Mine." I opened my mouth to object, then stopped. "You still sleep on my couch twice a week," I said. "Might as well be official." He grinned, not cocky, not smug, just grateful. "We still argue, we still disappoint each other." He still forgets to text me back sometimes, and I still find myself checking my rearview mirror more than I used to. But the thing about best friends is, if they really matter, you don't wait around for them to become perfect. You just wait for them to show up. And Cam finally doing that. One small choice at a time. If this story moved you, subscribe for more real-life confessions and emotional journeys like this one.